Hi, hello everyone. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for stopping by today. It's me, Virginia from Jupiter Arts Crafts, and thank you for joining me today to see this process video that I did mention and have set it aside because it was so long of a video. I think it's like about 4 hours, and after editing it, it went down to like an hour, over an hour, and I have actually moved on and forgotten about it. But last week, there's one subscriber, viewer, who made a comment that she's looking forward to this spin disc feature that I did in the last Ruby Tuesday DD project for my Celestial Tin Journal collection. So I did not want to disappoint her. Hi, Denise, if you're watching. So here's the video. And hopefully, you guys will also like this video. So for this particular one, I am making a tag ephemera, kind of, but somewhere along the process, I will mention that how this tag is actually what uh, can be used as the tin cover for that tin journal that I created. So for this video and process, I am actually making kind of like a tag slash writing board slash door hanger, because I'm not repeating the lid cover for those tin journals, because those journals were done, or the tin covers were done. But midway, or I mean towards the end of the ephemera, you can actually use that ephemera to cover or glue it over the cover of the tin, or over the top of the tin. You know what I mean, I guess. So I'll mention it when it gets to the part. So I'm showing in here, um, or did I did show, sorry, there's no synchronization with my voice over my gestures in the video and stuff. So I was showing how the spinning thing works. So when I did this journal, I had actually made a few mistakes, and I think made that cover, this one, the bigger one, that's actually a finished tag, was the first cover that I made. But I kind of like didn't like that it's a little big. I kind of like preferred the smaller one, so I repeated it again, and until I was happy with that. So I have four of those images, and for this one, I will be making another one of the tag with the little peak hole. So for this particular journal, which I called Moon Glows for the Ruby Tuesday DT, I used the La Luna kit. This image is from the La Luna kit, and I printed it in linen cardstock. But then I wanted to be sturdy. I used those scrapbook paper cover that are also cardstock thickness, that I won't be using for, I mean, I won't probably be using for images. But you could use any cardboard, and or cardboard, maybe not so much of a cardboard, so a thick cardboard, so that it would go through the punch. So for the final construction of the ephemera or the disc cover, we basically need three pieces of disc or circles. I might show it later, but I don't know exactly where it is. So we need one for the front cover, which is going to be holding the image. We need the middle one would be the spinning disc, and the third one would be the base. And for this particular one, since it's a tag, I'm using it as a separate tag. I need an image in the back. But if you were using it to cover the top of the tin, you don't need an image, but you still need the third cardboard or cardstock. And like I was saying earlier, to make it sturdy, I backed the image printed on a linen cardstock with a piece of scrap cardboard. Okay, so for the first image, which is going to be the front cover, okay, whatever you select, I mean, it doesn't have to be a celestial. We could do this with, like, I have some ideas, like maybe like a bird house, or just anything that you would want like a peek through. And of course, you could use bigger punch hole or bigger window, and it can even be a square in shape. It's many possibilities with this. So I am showing right now is going to be the third or the second disc, which is the rotating disc. And I saved that template from the project that I did, so that it would be easier to show. So what I did actually is you cut the spinning disc would be slightly smaller than the front and the third disc, so that you have room to rotate it. I think I'm showing it. And I'm showing right now that I used painted crescent moon. I watercolored that crescent moon. So I think I'm just gonna watch this and then like talk through for if I think there's something that needs to be explained. But I think you could pretty much understand how I did it. So you're right there. I already did that part where I glued together two cardstocks, the printed image, and scrap piece of cardboard. But I think I am gonna show how I did that. So the size of the disc will be the size of your tin, if you're making a tin or a round case. I mean, we could use this also with plastic. I know we have some of those round plastic containers. We could use that as well if you don't have tin. So it would be a little slightly smaller. So what I did with this is like trace the tin over the cardboard and like cut it a little bit smaller. Then it doesn't have to be a perfect circle. Um, with junk journal and the handmade journal, the imperfect makes it really beautiful as well. So I am showing again how the spinning disc is. So um, we are gonna be cutting kind of like a hole or a notch, an open notch, so that we could have access to the middle spinning disc. So how I did that was I punched hole or and like everywhere in this recording, sorry. So going back to this, showing how I punched the thing. Since the paper won't go through all the way so that I could punch it in the right position, what I did was I see I traced that. But what I'm gonna do here is the same way I did with the image. So I kind of folded the cardstock. This time is a black cardstock, so that I am in the position where I want the peak hole would be. And it's okay if it's bent there. Even the image, the actual image, I did that. I'm pointing it out. I probably cut that part. I may not have been very careful picking because this video was like 4 hours long. I cut it down to like an hour, 15 minutes. So that's the same thing that I did. It could actually be, I think I could see it that. Okay, and this one, I punch it with a bigger punch. which I've already done in the image. And then to make the curve not so sharp, I cut it a little curvy. So I'm cutting it the same, and that's gonna be like kind of your front disc. So right now I'm showing will be what I'm showing will be the spinning disc that would be in the middle. So this one should be slightly smaller also. I actually did not measure much. I just kind of like eyeballed it and did like a trial. So when you are cutting it to make it smaller, just make it just a little smidge cut. And then if it's still big or it won't spin through between the two discs, you can cut it a little bit, but don't go cut like real big, just a little smidge to make sure that you have enough of the peek through. So yeah, that's what I was saying. I think I explained that earlier. That's how I got. There's also that tool. I think I forgot what it's called, protractor or compass, that you can do by measuring the diameter of the circle and then do half of it to be in the middle for uh, the other thing. So forget about it. So right now I'm cutting the black disc that's gonna be in the middle, the spinning disc. What I did with the thin cover was that I think that's what I was showing earlier. It was a painted watercolor background that I did using the same paint that I used for painting the moon. But for this purpose, I just used that black cardstock. Be easier. So for this particular ephemera or cover that I did for the project, I used the phases of the moon. So like the 8 phases from the new moon, the waning gibbous, the first quarter, the waning crescent, and then new moon. Was that so? I forgot. You guys know the phases of the moon. There's 8, but I think and then when I use Heather's digital of Ruby and Pearl XO, the La Luna kit, there were some images there that show has the title, the nebula, the shooting star, the shepherd star. They were in French, but I checked the translation, so I kind of added little bit more of those circle and made those uh, little shooting star, shepherd star, and like I think stardust is what I put in there. So okay, important. Sorry, I keep talking. So between the third disc and the spinning disc, we are gonna be using a brad so that the middle disc will spin. So I'm showing right now. I clip it like just right at the very edge, so that you can't see it yet because there's no image in that actual disc. Because I'm just showing the how you would create that. So right now I am marking where I am gonna be painting or doing those peek through images of the phases of the moon and the celestial elements. So I just marked it with a circle, and it doesn't matter. So I just clipped it like at the very edge. So remember that the middle disc, the spinning disc, should be slightly smaller than the two discs that it is sandwiched from or sandwiched between. So I'm marking the disc with the gold gel pen so I could see it when I take it out. So I think for this one, I made 10 or 12. I think 8 phases of the moon, and then the nebula, the stardust, and, or I think it's the same, the shooting star and the shepherd star, which I did. But you could also do, I think it just depends on the distance, because this is a small peek through. I think I was able to fit, oh, there's even more extra space that I could use that. So I'll take it out and I'll show how I did the images to do the phases of the moon and the little star. But I'm just gonna show a little bit because I've already pre-made, because it's gonna take a long time. So what I'm using to paint those shiny glittery one is that it's a gilding. I don't think it's a wax. It's a gilding. It's a gilding wax or some from Creative Expressions. I have been using this the gold and the copper. I have two before, the gold and the copper, that I've been using for my other projects. I also kind of use it like an acrylic and watercolor. You can dilute it with water. But for this particular project, I bought that silver shimmery one. So I'm painting the crescent moon. The first one I skipped because it's the new moon, so it's all dark. But I did something with that also. I used the embossing powder, which I wasn't able to show here because this is so tiny. I think on the second part of the video, I showed on the bigger peek through. So painting the first quarter, it is okay to go beyond. Actually, I purposely go beyond the circle because sometimes it doesn't like align very well with the peek through hole. I turned it over. Those are already finished. So I have those. Yeah, I kind of like so saying the new moon is like dark, but later on I think I did that towards, I forgot before constructing it, but I did that afterwards. I remember that's the full moon, and then we're back to the new moon, but there's those other spaces where I put a okay, so I'm showing that's what I represented, the shepherd star. I have a little like confetti with gold big star. I mean big for the whole. I think it's on the side there, on the upper mid corner. I have a little dish with those confetti, and then the other one was supposed to be the shooting star. So I am gluing it. Those are tiny. I got that from Amazon. There's that little tiny, and I use the art glitter glue to glue that because the fabric tack doesn't, the plastic doesn't stick with the fabric tack. I've learned that last year. So I've been contemplating if I will get the art glitter glue because it's a little pricey also. But because I use it in different plastic applications for this project, I ended up buying it, and I liked it because of the pointy, the tiny point head that it is, and also that little tiny metal attachment. So I'm using the little what you call the tweezer to hold those tiny confetti. Oops, and I dropped it. So that's gonna be my shepherd star. I made a little, it doesn't show, but there's like a little glitter that's showing the tail of the shooting star, and the little stardust here at the bottom there. So I think that's gonna be my third disc, right? I am testing it first before actually putting it together. So this, um, we don't just glue those two sandwich discs because it won't spin properly. So we need a spacer in between those, the front and the back disc, that will be glued around in the corner. And I thought of using that hemp, but it's a little tiny. I want something bigger. So I look around my stash. But if you have that hemp that's a little wider, or a cord that's kind of like stiff, or you can stiffen something, maybe even a yarn, you can make it stiff by applying glue to it. I've done that before. And for this particular one, I have this trim because I don't have a bigger hemp at that time. So it has wider. So I bent it so that it will be thicker. I glued fabric tack. I glued it with fabric tack. So that's what I'm doing right now. A little messy working with the fabric tack, but that's how I did it. So I'm showing how it shows up in the this. I showed how it showed up in the tin. So I think waited for that to dry, and sorry, I'm like messy. This is not my thing. I'm trying. So next time I'll probably try. Hopefully I could do something simple and do a process or a tutorial, hopefully. So I will be gluing the cord spacer. When I did it with the disc cover or the tin cover, I painted it actually before or after. Oh, I forgot. So let's just focus on this one, okay, on what I'm doing right now. But I think um, I cut some steps from how I did it in the actual tin cover. So because this will not be visible, I think I'm gonna be showing it later. So yeah, that's I glued the fabric tack because it's sturdy, and I think hopefully it doesn't fall apart. With the handmade stuff that we are creating, there's no guarantee that it won't. But when I do something, I try to, I kind of like overthink everything. I want everything secure. I actually stitched this. That's what I was trying to remember. With the tin cover, I actually stitched around it afterwards because I thought it has to stay put in the tin cover because we're going to be handling the tin cover like opening and closing. But for this particular one, since it's just a tag, I did not stitch it. And if you had to stitch it, you could stitch it. You have to wait for the glue to dry. So I am gluing the spinning disc. I did that. That was the sample that I did when I showed how I would be creating those, but on the reverse side, which was the finished one that I did. Oh, I think I am reinforcing it to make sure that it is sturdy and more substance so that it won't tear as we spin it. And the same thing that I did for the disc, I also stitched it with the sewing machine when I finished gluing and it dried. There you go. I'm trying to see where else I could speed up the process. Okay, so I'm gonna pause this for a bit and see. Okay, I'm back. So I sped up a little bit more. This is like super sped up video. Okay, so I am trying on the disc. I poke the middle. Okay, I forgot to bring my awl when I was recording this. I did this in the kitchen where my kitchen table is, because that's where I have the best lighting, but it's a little still overcast at the time I was recording this. So I'm showing in here the back image that I will be using for the ephemera, the tag, which is the painted crescent moon. because I already had that. I painted the faces of the moon for the journal, which if you haven't seen the video, you can check it out for my Ruby Tuesday DT in February. So trying that on, making sure. I also stitched that. I think I mentioned that. So we're gonna attach it to the third disc, which is the back. Make sure it's spinning. I'm checking to make sure that I have enough room that it will spin. And there you go. Yeah, I think I'm gonna make a little bit more adjustment to it. Yeah, cut it out tiny smidge, just a little tiny smidge of cutting there, because we need to make sure that it still aligns with the hole, but that we have enough room to for our finger to spin the disc. So I think I was happy with how the spinning disc is working, and the next step that I'm doing here, showing you, is I will be painting part of the spacer for now, where we will have that access to the spinning disc with our finger. So I made a mix of an acrylic, black, blue, and a little bit of white. So it's kind of like dark grayish. I also added a little bit of the matte gel medium. It's a heavy body matte gel medium, so that it will kind of like seal the edge of the round disc later on. And that's how I did it with the disc cover of the tin, so that it is sealed throughout. So you know how I'm not sure if you guys are familiar. Maybe most of you probably are familiar with the matte gel medium, and I particularly bought that heavy duty or heavy body matte gel medium for that. So I am attaching the disc to it, and I am showing right now. I kind of sped up that part, that the third disc or the back disc should have I glued a protector that did I didn't have to like glue all the way around, just the edge of it, so that the the second disc will rotate. Okay, so that little punch circle that I glued around it is necessary so that it will spin. So I am finally gluing the top image or the top disc. I just move it around so that it is aligned. The images that we painted is aligned with the peak hole. Yeah, scratching the glue. Okay, so if we are to use it, hold on, I went back and reversed the speed to slow it down a little bit, because there was something so I glued together the three parts, and I'm showing right now that I am gonna be attaching the ribbon to for the tag. But if we are using it for the disc cover or the tin cover, we could glue it now to on top of the tin at that time. And I use Fabri-Tac to glue that finished disc, like I'm showing here, to attach it to the tin. But right now, I am gluing the ribbon. I used that, what was that? I forgot what it's called, the organza ribbon. And I made it long as opposed to the one, the finished tag that I showed earlier, because I was thinking it could also be a door hanger. And when I did the first one, our door is like, the skinny doorknob that it's kind of like a lever. But if it was the round one, it won't fit. So I made this one a little longer. So this one, I will be attaching it to the image in the back of the tag. But if we were using this for the uh, cover of the tin, we don't need the ribbon hanging tag. We will just glue this directly to the tin. So I glued the crescent moon painting as the back image. I was just checking. You could use any image, of course, any printable from any digital creators or any image that you might have. I tied that a little bit so that it won't be in the way when I paint. What am I doing? I think so that it won't get in the way when I paint the edge, the circumference of the, the disc. So I'm trimming it a little bit so that they are of the same size. And you can see that there's space between the spacers and the two image. So I'm using the paint mix that I created. I actually did not mix them all the way because I like how the blue, black, and the gray shows. So I added that gel matte medium so that it will be kind of like a filling for this edge of the tin. And with the tin cover, I did that after I attached the whole finished disc. And I filled the edges, so I might have shown it earlier or probably will be showing it in the end. So that's it. I think I can speed up this part. Went back. It's already sped up to the max. But anyway, I think I'm getting close to the end. So I'm just filling all the spaces and at the same time painting the edge so that it will look finished. You don't have to, but it looks more finished with the ending, especially if we're attaching it to the tin cover of the tin. So I think I'll say goodbye here on this part. I think this is it for the process video. I don't think I'll have time to record for the other one. It's pretty much the same. So thank you for stopping by today and spending some time with me. And I hope you enjoyed and got inspired with this or any part of the Celestial Journal collections that I shared earlier, or any of my previous journals or videos that I shared here. And if you feel inspired to create something similar to this or the like, please tag me in Instagram or here on YouTube. I think you could tag it here. So I would appreciate it, and I would like to see what you create too. And thank you so much. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please do. I would appreciate it. Like the video, and I'd love to hear from you. And you all have a wonderful day. Thank you. Thank you for watching.